Hey everyone, welcome back to my channel. In today's video, I'm sharing with you 10 Christmas trash to treasure projects. These are DIYs I created with items from the thrift store, so let's get started. The first thing I picked up was a simple shelf. I got this at the Restore. They sell them there for $1. And I had my husband cut it so that one of the pieces was longer than the other. It didn't need to be precise. I just wanted something that was uneven. Next, I'm going to paint both of my boards with Crimson by Waverly, and I'll do 2 coats of that paint. Next, I'm going to take Waverly white chalk paint and add it to the edges and a little bit down the middle to distress it. And then I'm going to take some buffalo check ribbon that I had on hand. This is from Hobby Lobby, and I'm just going to hot glue it vertically, and then I'm also going to put a piece horizontally as well. You can see here how I'm tying the horizontal piece together so it makes a nice cinched together package, and then I'm just going to tie it into a bow. Next, I'll just cut the ends so that they're at a nice angle. And to finish it off, I'm going to add a few snowflakes from Dollar Tree. This is a really inexpensive wall art piece, or for me, I put it on my fireplace. For this next project, I thrifted a mason jar. This may be something you have on hand. You could even use like a spaghetti jar if you wanted. I'm also going to be using some scrapbook paper from Hobby Lobby and an ornament from Dollar Tree. So I'm going to start by wrapping the scrapbook paper around my mason jar to see how long I need it. I'm going to cut a little portion off and then just bend the paper over and cut the rest off. I needed a little bit of extra paper so it fit all the way around the back. Next, I'm going to make a little tree template just on some scrap paper. And then on the back of my scrapbook paper, I'm going to trace around the Christmas tree. And then I'll just simply cut out the Christmas tree. I needed to add a little bit of extra paper to the back because I didn't have it completely covered. And then I'm going to take the rest of my scrapbook paper, hot glue that front portion, and then hot glue it to the back. To dress up the top, I'm just going to wrap around some twine that I had on hand. I'll tie that off in the front in a bow. I'm going to pull off the sprigs from the ornament that I got from Dollar Tree, and I'm going to hot glue those underneath. Next, I'll just add a candle, and this makes a great little addition to any tablescape. Dollar Tree has out these stencils, so I'm going to be using this stencil in my next project. I found this wood plaque at the thrift store. You can often find just pieces of wood for really inexpensive that people just no longer want. And I'm using a combination of white and silver paint, mixing those together. I'm just going to paint 2 coats onto this plaque. To distress it a little bit, I'm going to come in with some sandpaper and pull it off around the top edge. I'm going to use that same crimson color to fill in my stencil. Now I'm using these Dollar Tree stencils. I've decided I don't like these very well. I actually prefer just a regular foam brush. I feel like you can get in and stencil it better with those. Next, I just grabbed some ribbon that I had. I believe this ribbon is from Hobby Lobby. I always buy it there when it's 50% off. And then I'll just hot glue it to the back. And then I'll add in some additional twine. This is kind of the fun part. Just kind of add until you think it looks good. I'm also going to put in a little snowflake. I never really know how I'm going to dress things up until I start working on them, but that's kind of the fun part for me. And here's a really inexpensive sign that you can create to sit out for the holiday season. I was lucky enough to find this sleigh when I was at the thrift store. It was marked at $3 and I got it half off, so it was $1.50. I knew this would be perfect for Christmas, so I'm going to paint with 2 coats of Waverly white chalk paint on the entire piece. Once the paint has a chance to dry, I'm going to distress it by pulling off the paint with some sandpaper around the edges. Then I'm going to use this buffalo check tissue paper that I picked up at the Target dollar spot, and I'm simply going to trace around my sleigh with a pen, and then I'm going to try to kind of fill in where I wasn't able to trace before I cut it out. And I'm going to do this for both sides of my sleigh. Next, I'm going to use some matte Mod Podge. Mine is from Dollar Tree, but you can pick this up at Walmart as well. And I'm just going to brush it around so it's even on the side of my sleigh. And then I'm just going to put down that tissue paper. I'm going to repeat these steps on the opposite side as well. So I needed to create some little presents. So I had this random box on hand. So I'm just going to cut a portion of this box. I'm going to use this wrapping paper to wrap it up. This wrapping paper I had from IKEA, but really you could use any wrapping paper you want. I just wanted to make some tiny presents to put in the sleigh. And then I'm going to use some Dollar Tree ribbon to tie a cute little bow around this package. Now I wanted this to look like Santa's sleigh with presents in it, so I'm just going to stack my presents in there. To give one of them a little bit of additional height, I just used a napkin ring in the back. And I just love the way this sleigh turned out, and I think it's so cute. For this next project, I actually found these burlap sacks for 90% off last year at Walmart on their Christmas clearance. For me, I don't have anything under my tree, and so I thought this would be just a cute thing to add in. Now, I did add a piece of paper into this burlap sack so it didn't go onto the back. Now, if you don't have a Cricut, a great thing you can use are the back pieces of stickers. So I'm actually using the outline of a sticker to spell out a name. I'm just going to use some red acrylic paint and stencil in the letters. Go ahead and let that completely dry before you remove the backing. Since they are stickers, it's probably going to be a lot easier for you. Next, I just grabbed a large pillow form that I already had on hand, and I'm going to stick that down in here. That way, after Christmas, I can always pull the pillow out and use it for something else. I got some ribbon that I had on hand, and I'm just going to tie a nice bow at the top. And here's how they look underneath my tree. If you don't like a lot of color for Christmas, I have a really elegant centerpiece that I think would be nice. I found this tray for $1 at the thrift store and wanted it white, so I just added 2 coats of my Waverly white chalk paint. I'm going to pull off some of the paint by distressing it with sandpaper. Next, I'm going to add in some candles. You can pick up sets of candles at IKEA. You can also pick up a set at Walmart. These, I believe, are from IKEA. And you just want to stagger them. So it's kind of a random pattern, but I usually try to put the smaller ones towards the ends. Just don't make it look too perfect. Next, I'm going to add in some Dollar Tree ornaments. And I like that these ornaments have different textures. Some are shiny, some are smooth, some have glitter. So I like having a variety, and I'm just going to put them all around my tray. I also thought this little candle snuffer was cute from Dollar Tree, so I'm just going to set that on the tray. And then you could set this out on any kind of buffet you had. It would be great in the middle of your table, and I just think it's so easy and looks so elegant. When I was at the thrift store, I came across this really cute frame. I liked the way it looked, I liked the shape, but it didn't have anything in it. I probably spent 50 cents on it. I'm going to take off the backing piece, and then I'm going to cover it with some red wrapping paper. I believe this wrapping paper is from Dollar Tree, and I'm just going to use my hot glue gun and wrap the back of it just like it was a present. It doesn't have to be perfect or anything because you won't be seeing the backside. I'm going to be using this Let It Snow sign from Dollar Tree. I'm going to take out the little hanger on it and fill it up with some wood filler. I'll go ahead and paint the sign with 2 coats of Waverly white chalk paint. I would love to know in the comments what colors you guys will be using this year for Christmas. I haven't entirely decided how I'm going to do my tree, so I would love to know what color scheme you're going for and what your plans are. Next, I'm going to take the frame and just paint it with 2 coats of black paint. And the black paint that I use is Ink by Waverly. I do get some questions about where I get my paint. If I use a product in the video, I will link it down for you in the description box. Waverly chalk paint is sold in the crafts section at Walmart, but I'll also put links to it below for you. Next, I'm just going to hot glue my backing to the frame. And then I'll hot glue the Let It Snow sign to the middle. I'm going to tuck in a little bit of buffalo check ribbon to the edge. I'll hot glue on a pick that I picked up from Dollar Tree, and then I'll just use that same ribbon to tie a bow, and I'll hot glue that on top of my pick. And based on what the sign looked like before, I think it turned out really cute. So I found these really cool spindles at a thrift store. I had no idea what I was going to do with them, but I just thought they were so cute. They were really dirty, so I'm coming in and cleaning them up so that I can start doing a project with them. Whenever I'm cleaning up pieces of furniture or spindles or anything really, I just use water and a rag. I don't really know what chemicals are going to affect things, so I usually just go with water. So I had my husband cut the spindles in half. I decided the features on these were so nice that I'm just going to lightly dry brush on some white paint and then wipe it off. I don't really want to lose that cool texture underneath or the color, but I want the spindles to stand out with all of their neat texture. I decided to create sort of a bundle, like a set of logs. So I just put all 4 of the spindles together, and I'm going to tie them in place with some twine. The twine was more just to hold everything together, but I'm going to use some buffalo check ribbon to make it look a little bit more decorative. I'll add in a few picks from Dollar Tree to give it a little Christmas flair. And then I'll also attach a buffalo check ribbon. I just thought this was something a little unexpected that I could put out on my fireplace for Christmas. So whenever you're thrifting, I always look at prints. I came across this really gorgeous winter scene, and it was only $1 for this print. And I loved the way the print looked, and I thought it was great the way it was. The frame was just really beat up and in need of a little attention. So I decided I'm gonna come in and just paint this frame up to make this picture really stand out. So I'm going to use 2 coats of Waverly white chalk paint. To distress, I'm going to be using a wet distress. So I let it dry for 2 hours, and then I'm going to take a wet rag and just rub on the piece until I pull the paint off. This is just another way to distress without using a sanding method. It really works just as well. It's just kind of your preference. This was a simple DIY, but I think it really freshens up this print, and it's perfect sitting out for Christmas and winter. So I love finding Christmas decor at the thrift store. I came across this tree and it was very inexpensive, but I just knew I could totally update this and make it look so cute. All it needed was a little attention. I'm using Graphite by Annie Sloan, which is just a dark gray color. It had this old copper box and it was kind of beaten up a little bit, so it just needed a fresh coat of paint. So with the tree portion, I fluffed out all the branches just to make it look as full as possible. Then I'm going to be using this snow blower, and you want to start at the top and just kind of angle your way down because you want it to look like the snow is coming from the top and just landing on your branches. And that was all I needed to do to update this piece. It cost me a few dollars at the thrift store. This would have typically cost me $40 or $50 at a retail shop. Thank you guys so much. Let me know in the comments what your favorite project was that I shared today. I love knowing your opinion. If you're not subscribed, I don't know what you're waiting for. I have so many great Christmas DIYs planned that I can't wait to show you. And I'll link our last DIY here for you. And I'll talk to you guys in our next one. Bye.